Welcome, guys. Nate Allbaugh here, and this time I'm in Louisville. And here in Louisville, we brought in a handful of championship coaches, not championship caliber coaches, literally guys that won state championships this year and are super excited to be here. Today's topic, we're going to teach you guys a little bit about quick game. Now, these tutorials are really geared towards newer coaches, maybe even youth coaches. So we just want to make sure we're taking the time to teach some of these fundamentals to quick game that might get overlooked or sometimes just we don't take the time to teach them to the younger crew of football and coaching lovers. So we want to take the time to do that. Now, you guys know me. I'm an under center guy, and we have done a lot of great things with the quick game. But you're not here to learn from me. I didn't drive to Louisville for you to learn from me. So we're bringing in our guest. And our guest, head football coach at Christian Academy Louisville, Hunter Cantwell. Coach, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Man, well, you are a champ yourself. Played for U of L, which they had to educate me on when I got here. And he's such a humble guy. He's like, yeah, I played. That's it. Turns out I was a starter for Louisville and even got some time in the NFL. So listen, this guy knows quick game, so you don't have to learn anything from me. So without further ado, let's just turn it over to Coach Cantwell. And Coach, take to the whiteboard whatever you need to kind of coach guys up on those fundamentals of teaching quick game for the younger guys.
Yeah, so we're going to look at one of my favorite quick game concepts, and this was something that I ran when I was a youth football player way back in the day. We run it at Christian Academy of Louisville, ran it at the University of Louisville, and ran it in the National Football League. So it really is a play for all levels. It's simple, it's easy to teach, but there is some nuance there too. So let's dive into it. What I've got drawn up on the screen here is really just slant arrow or slant flat. So our outside guys, you look at our Z and our X, they're going to run 3-step slants. Their outside foot is going to be back. Against off coverage, we want to think 3 drive steps. Everything that's vertical in the quick game should put some fear in that defensive back or that nickel defender that we are winning over the top. So we're 3 steps out of it. When we get to that 3rd step, our outside foot, we're putting our foot in the ground, and we are setting a 45-degree angle. Now, you want to make sure that with your receivers that they're they give you a really clear and defined hard plant step that's going to, hopefully set the angle for the quarterback, let him know that the ball is ready to be released. And then at the top of that route, on that hard plant step, little head and eyes at the top of the route, just to try to get that defensive back leaning. So twofold, you tell the quarterback that the receiver is ready to receive the football, as well as hopefully get that defensive back leaning away from the area that you're breaking into. My inside receiver is going to run a 1-step slant. We want to make sure that we've got a good horizontal stretch on the defense to the field. So looking at our W right here, he's got a 1-step slant. He's going to fire off the football a little bit flatter angle than our 45-degree outside. But that spacing and the steps on the perimeter should help that quarterback to get a first window throw and then a throw into the curl window by the X. Our Y right here, our number 3 receiver to the field, he's got an arrow, just a flat control route. His aiming point is going to be 3.5 yards from the line of scrimmage on the sideline, looking over his inside shoulder. And we want to make sure that he is getting out there quickly. And so, whether it's somebody's got him in man coverage, he's pulling that man defender out of there, whether he's got zone coverage, whoever is the curl flat defender has to make a decision. He can't just sit there and play both, because our number 3 receiver in this instance, our Y, is being lazy. Into the boundary, which is the short side of the field, we're going to have our running back. He's gonna run a swing. Same deal with the Y. We want to make sure that he's getting out of there now. Quarterback, depending on how you're going to protect it, for us, we would like to half slide to the field, but any pressure into the boundary The quarterback's just going to catch the ball, pivot, get it to that running back out in the flat right now. But the running back's got to go. He's got to get out of there. He's got to put a good stretch on that curl flat defender into the boundary. The way that we read it, for some of you guys that might see multiple coverages, we try to keep it really easy and simple for the quarterback. If we're getting middle of field closed or one high, then he's going to work the single slant side. So one high safety, we're going to work the single slant side. If we're getting two high safety or middle of field open, we're going to work the double slant side. If it's man coverage, then we don't have to worry about how many safeties we're seeing. We're just going to work the best matchup, best leverage. Really turns into one-on-one routes, period, for us in practice. If we're underneath center, we're going to take 3 steps off the plant. Big thing when you're dropping from underneath center is that first step has got to get you away from the line of scrimmage. You don't want any push. You don't want your center getting stepped on. You want the defensive line in the quarterback's lap. So that big first step, we got to pivot on that left foot. If I'm a right-handed quarterback, drive, got to get as far away from the line of scrimmage as we can on one step. Then our second and third step are really control steps. We teach, and I believe that 90% of the quarterback position is just control and weight. So we want to make sure that on the second and third steps, we're getting our weight back underneath us and controlled so we can push out and drive off the inside ball, that back foot to the receiver that we want to go to. If we're in gun, we're just going to take 3 small steps underneath us just to allow time for that receiver to get to his third step and get out of his break. We definitely don't want to be getting depth. We definitely don't want to be outside our shoulders. Just nice and easy underneath us so that the drop times up with the routes. If it is zone coverage, it's too high. I've got some curl flat defenders that we would want to be cognizant of. But really for us, it's just pure progression 1 to 2 to 3. So we're going to take a look at this. If we're getting middle field open or 2 high safeties, we're going to look at this W on this one-step slant. A lot of times you'll see quarterbacks because the W is usually not the one that gets open. He's usually the guy clearing it out for the outside receiver. Sometimes quarterbacks will bypass that, but they need to set to throw the one-step slant. All right, and if he's open, we need to take it and need to take it now. All right, if we don't like the W, he'll come back out to the X. If the X isn't there, then he'll come all the way back to the arrow to the field. We tell this arrow, hey, when you get to the bottom of the numbers, let's just start to throttle. We don't want to be running full speed and either run out of bounds or have the quarterback throw us out of bounds. So he's going to get to the bottom of the numbers and come under control to make sure that we've got an easy throw and that we're not carrying him out of bounds and he can get upfield and get yards after the catch for us. If we're getting single high coverage, we're going to work the boundary right here off the curl flat defender. If we're in gun 1.5, just read him. All right. If he ever tries to play both, if a defender ever tries to play both, just come underneath. Can't go broke taking a profit. Me being from Western Kentucky, we like to say pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. So we want to take what the defense gives us and not have them bait us into a dangerous throw or an interception. Really, the only other teaching point for this concept, for this slant arrow concept, is for press coverage, and we want to make sure that the receivers have some time to work that defensive back at the line of scrimmage. And there's a lot of different ways that receivers can get off press coverage. I'm not going to get into that here, but we want the X and the W and the Z to know that they have a little time to work at the line of scrimmage. All right, be physical and violent with their hands, and then get to the slant. All right, they don't just have to run off the line and have a defensive back get inside their shoulder pads and take them where they want to go. So the quarterback needs to know if he is getting press man coverage, be a little bit more patient on that. It's going to take a little bit longer time to develop, but still obviously read it the same. If it's man coverage across the board, we're going to our best matchup and our best leverage. And the last thing I'll see too is is inside breaking routes on inside leverage defenders, and I think one of the things you see at the lower levels of football is those receivers are going to try to get inside of that defender, get inside of that defender, get inside of that defender. We really like expanding those routes. In this instance, looking at our X and our Z right here, expanding towards the sideline, getting that inside leverage defender to turn and run towards us, get him in our hip and get him running like we're trying to beat him over the top, and then sinking our hips. at the top of our route, being physical and violent with our hands, throwing that defensive back by and crossing his face. So don't be threatened about inside breaking routes against inside leverage defenders. That's that's a technique that you all can use that can be very effective. So that is our slant arrow concept in a nutshell. I've run it at all levels of football, and it's always very effective and a great quick game concept to carry with you.
Wow. Fellas, I was not expecting to get that level of detail in coaching today, and we got it from Coach Cantwell. So thank you, Coach. It will also be presenting for our clinic today. Coach, tell them real quick what your topic is for tonight.
Yeah, we're going to be speaking on the dash passing concept.
Which is, because I had to ask, because I told him I'm a wing T guy. I didn't know this world.
Sure, yeah. So it's a quick game concept, usually to the short side of the field, what we call the boundary, married to either a longer developing rollout concept or a bootleg concept. It has a lot of great answers to a lot of things. It's very simple. And it's kind of RPO-ish in that there's multiple options on the play and things kind of develop as the defense presents, the coverage and the defensive structure that they want to play. So it's just kind of a do everything play, and it's really good at all areas of the field. We'll talk about it, in the low red on the goal line. We'll talk about it in the middle of the field. Third and fourth down. I mean, there's always options there, and it's really easy to disguise, right? It's really easy to run it out of multiple formations, multiple personnel groupings, and I think pretty easy to install. You don't need a great quarterback to run it. You don't need super talented receivers to make it be effective. So excited to talk more about that.
Man, well, if you guys want to see that presentation, it'll be linked below. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll keep learning ball together, man. So find us right back here on the channel next week, same time, same place.